Hello friends and viewers, and welcome to my Pamina character guide. If you are here for a quick reference, I've created a pocket guide for the beginning of the video. Without further ado, my introduction. My name is James, I'm a global player and I started playing Sword of Convallaria in September 2024. I'm a longtime strategy and turn-based RPG fan with the Fire Emblem series, Tactics Ogre, and Unicorn Overlord as some recent titles I enjoy. I'm a PvE focused player in Sword of Convallaria. I have no interest or knowledge of PvP. As a global player, I lack the technical knowledge and exposure to the Taiwan and China scenes. As a result, I'm subject to feedback and I'm open to being wrong. If you come across conflicting information to other guides and creators, then there are absolutely multiple ways to play a character. Play your way. As a fun fact about myself, I am a Thai tea boba enjoyer. Pamina's trait is Unyielding Heroine. With this trait, she ignores block. It increases her physical defense and converts a percentage of her physical defense to physical attack. She gains the Unyielding Heroine buff, triggering up to 1 to 4 times per turn, depending on star level. At star level 5, it additionally dispels 1 debuff and recovers 1 energy per trigger. Her trait also increases her defense by 15% for each enemy within 2 tiles of Pamina, up to 30%. The Unyielding Heroine buff allows Pamina to counterattack with 90% AoE damage when attacked by enemies within 2 tiles of Pamina. She generates lifesteal, but the damage dealt is reduced for each additional target hit by 10% up to 30%. Her initial skill is Rapid Combo. This is a single target attack dealing a cumulative total of 150% damage and dispels 2 buffs from the target. This is Pamina's only single target energy spender, but unlikely to be a regular part of her skill loadout. At rank 1, I recommend Breakthrough Spear. This ability allows you to select Endless Force or Invincible. Break Endless Force performs a total 150% AoE damage. Pamina will also gain 60% attack when used against enemies with shields, and if the target is dying, she will ignore 80% of their defense and resolve. Break Invincible is a 1x5 vertical AoE attack, and knocks the first enemy back by 2 tiles. I also recommend a Castalia for who dares to contend. Pamina inflicts Taunted, a control-bound debuff on a target, increasing their speed but will only move towards and use basic attacks on Pamina. If the enemy is immune to Taunted, the enemy will instead take 30% increased damage from Pamina. Pamina will also recover 30% HP and gain parry and damage reduction too. She will additionally grant a defense 2 buff to allies within 4 tiles of her. To recap, I recommend Breakthrough Spear at rank 1 with a Castalia for who dares to contend. Breakthrough Spear is a versatile ability to perform AoE damage and is easy to use with its 2 energy cost and 0 turn cooldown. Who Dares to Contend is a strong ability for crowd control, self-sustain, and party support. At rank 3, I recommend Indomitable Stance. Indomitable Stance decreases damage taken by 15% while also converting additional defense to her physical attack when performing AoE attacks. Note that Pamina's trait, Unyielding Heroine, only converts physical defense to physical attack, but Indomitable Stance converts both physical defense and magic defense to her physical attack as well. Inertial Chop only triggers from active attacks and will offer a bit more upfront damage, but Pamina's skill kit specializes more with out-of-turn damage. At rank 5, I recommend Upright Spirit for her reaction skill. Upright Spirit does not offer any damage mitigation. Instead, it helps make Pamina more independently sustainable. This reaction skill increases her healing received, and at the start of each turn, she dispels 3 debuffs from herself, or if she has no debuffs, then recovers 20% HP. While Upright Spirit offers more self-sustain, Front Defense is an option to further reduce damage taken. Against taunted enemies, it is easier to manipulate enemy AI for Pamina to take hits from the front. At rank 7, I recommend Onslaught No Foe Can Stand. Onslaught No Foe Can Stand is Pamina's signature ability. It has a range of 2 to 4 tiles, dealing AoE damage to enemies within 2 tiles of the target location, and inflicts Taunt and Vulnerable 2 for 1 turn. Pamina gains the Onslaught buff, reducing damage and piercing damage taken by 30%, gains Resolve, and blocks one fatal attack. Shield Breaking Fierce Thrust is another AoE ability that inflicts a physical defense 2 debuff and knocks enemies back by 2 tiles. By itself, it is a fine ability for knockback purposes, but has a more niche function compared to Onslaught. At rank 9, your options are Surefire Attack or Powerful Attack. Surefire Attack helps secure damage against units with dodge, which are primarily Seekers, whereas Powerful Attack deals 10% more damage than a regular basic attack. You might consider Counterattack Slash at rank 11 when Pamina is a higher star level. If so, you may find more value from Powerful Attack. If you cannot decide, then consider selecting based on the defense or HP stat gain. Recall Pamina gains additional physical attack based on her physical defense. My pick here is Surefire Attack. At rank 11, your options are Counterattack Slash or Frontline Action. Counterattack Slash with her Unyielding Heroine trait makes her out-of-turn damage even more powerful, but the strength of this skill will depend on Pamina's star level. The more times Pamina counterattacks in a turn, then the more potent Counterattack Slash will be. Frontline Action increases Pamina's speed to 248, placing her speed above defenders. The speed advantage can allow her to initiate a turn with Onslaught or Who Dares to Contend. This skill also decreases damage taken by 20% when healthy, which Pamina can sustain with her lifesteal. My pick here at this rank is Frontline Action. My general build recommendation uses Upright Spirit, Onslaught No Foe Can Stand, Breakthrough Spear, and Indomitable Stance. With this build, cast Onslaught as early as you tactically can in a fight. Use Breakthrough Spear as your energy spender when Onslaught is on cooldown. At higher star level, you may consider substituting Onslaught for Counterattack Slash. For a crowd control taunt build, consider Front Defense, Onslaught, Who Dares to Contend, and Indomitable Stance. This build focuses on inflicting taunt with Onslaught and Who Dares to Contend to control damage onto Pamina, manipulating damage away from the rest of your group. For weapons, Army Breaking Spear is Pamina's signature weapon, resetting the turn cooldown and refunding the energy cost for non-instant skills based on total distance moved. This weapon is most potent at higher star level and pairs well with Pamina's more expensive skills such as Onslaught and Counterattack Slash. Double-sided Halberd is a more accessible option to increase Pamina's AoE damage output. The Silent Guard is another option to increase her defense against active attacks and output slightly more damage from her Unyielding Heroine trait. For trinkets, some options include Shield of Justice, Cooling Powder, Mystery Guardian, and Evergreen Pendant. Shield of Justice fits well into Pamina's profile, providing a physical shield every 2 to 3 turns and an attack and defense increase while a shield is active. Between Unyielding Heroine and Upright Spirit, Pamina has extremely strong self-sustain. Blocking her healing received would be a hard counter against her, so Cooling Powder can be valuable to her survivability. As Unyielding Heroine and Indomitable Stance convert her defense to physical attack, this means defense debuffs are also a damage loss. Using Mystery Guardian protects Pamina from defense attribute debuffs. With all the ways that Pamina can heal herself, Evergreen Pendant is also a reasonable option to quickly stack and maintain level 2 buffs. As for Tarots, Dream of the Magician complements Pamina well as the bulk of her skill kit focuses on AoE damage. If you do not have any strong Magician Tarots, consider Destruction of the Tower to increase Pamina's out-of-turn damage. It's reasonable to consider more physical attack or defense rolls over the lifesteal hidden effect. On any maps with high target count, such as allies, enemies, summons, and NPCs, it's always reasonable to consider Temptation of the Devil. Lastly, Silence of the Hermit is a fair option for the sole purpose of reducing damage taken. For engravings, Sword and Wand is the best general use resonance for the attack and defense bonuses. This is also the only reliable resonance combination that will increase Pamina's out-of-turn damage. To provide some composition and usage tips, in the current character roster, Pamina has the lowest base physical attack among breakers, but boasts extremely high base physical defense, rivaling defenders such as Tiden and Magnus. Playing Pamina as a tank against physical damage is a reasonable starting point, but building her up to be a potent damage dealer may require a lot of resource investment. Regardless of Pamina's high base physical defense, Seekers and magic damage dealers are still her weakness. Be proactive with protecting Pamina from these enemy types, whether through debuffs or manipulating the enemy AI with other units. Pamina is part of the Night Crimson, Iria, and Fortitude categories. Consider building a team with Pamina using one or multiple of Layla's, Dentalion's, and Magnus's leaders' auras. Among external category buffs, Dentalion's for Iria leader's aura provides 20% more damage to enemies with 3 or more debuffs. Pamina can regularly contribute to the debuff count with Taunt. Layla's Night Crimson aura provides 12% damage to all Night Crimson allies. Magnus's Blood and Steel aura decreases damage taken when healthy and enables Pamina to become immune to the negative effects of injured. This is a great aura to further increase Pamina's survivability. We also have Inanna's Soulmate, which is a great ability to have in an Irian team, providing attack and defense buffs. I want to take a moment to call out my YouTube members for supporting my channel and me. With their support, they help with bringing more Sword of Convallaria content forward. On this channel, I offer the Rare and Epic membership tiers. At the Rare tier, you have access to loyalty badges, custom emojis, and member shoutouts in future guide videos. At the Epic tier, you'll receive all Rare tier perks, as well as access to PDF copies of all my guide content. Thank you for your time and consideration. It's the most valuable thing anyone can ever ask for. This concludes my character guide. As mentioned in my disclaimer, I welcome feedback and I'm open to being wrong. I'm still learning and improving just like you are. Once again, if you find conflicting information to other guides or content creators, then that means there are multiple ways to build a character and still achieve success. If you have any feedback for me, please feel welcome to comment below. I also have my various social media platforms on this slide here. Last but not least, I want to credit and shout out these resources that helped me put this guide together. Voyage Memento for their character build samples and reference links, the Sword of Convallaria No Potion fan site for skill images and skill descriptions, the Sword of Convallaria Cloud Drop Wiki for skill filtering and gear images, and the Billy Game and Game Key Chinese sites for character art assets. I highly recommend visiting these links to build your Sword of Convallaria knowledge. Thank you so much for watching this character guide, and I will see you in the next one.